Trump aide Steve Bannon trying to fold, and an investigator for the House committee here is saying that the panel would have hours and hours of questions for Mr. Bannon. He does know a lot, and that's why he matters as a fact witness, regardless of what you think of his ethics or his tendency to lie, as we covered in the beginning of the program. Just 1 week before the insurrection, Bannon was urging Trump to focus everything on pressuring Mike Pence. Of course, we later learned that became an arm of the attempted coup. 4 days before the insurrection, well, Bannon had none other than John Eastman on his show, The War Room, which is a very particular piece of propaganda that operates within that MAGA movement. Some of this stuff at the time might have looked downright wacky, but now that Mr. Eastman himself has claimed and invoked the Fifth Amendment on the grounds not to incriminate himself, and how much we have learned from the committee and otherwise about alleged crimes, it is interesting to see how they were talking going into the 6th, and Bannon referred to behind-the-scenes plans to overturn the election.
We're live from the nation's capital. It's 2 January. Massive constitutional fights going on behind the scenes. People don't understand. John, first off, this argument of what's actually happening at the state basis and what happened in the Constitution that you and I happened to be on a call last night and you were walking people through, it was so brilliant. This is a defining moment. People will remember this one forever. It's where you were in this fight.
Just tosses in. They were on a call together the night before. That was January 1st. This is January 2nd. You're days out from something that he was then touting as a world historical event that you'd remember where you were. And you have to remember, on the 2nd, all of this looked like it was running out of gas. On Insurrection Eve, Bannon is also linked to key Trump figures at the headquarters at the Willard. He was reportedly in the room when Mike Pence's chief of staff phoned in complaining that Trump had publicly said Pence would reject the election results. And the statement was that Pence needs to be loyal from the Trump aides who were trying to engineer that. Later the same night, Trump called Bannon reportedly to discuss what happened when he personally pushed Pence on this. And that is all Bannon scheming with the insiders. Then there are other angles. On the very same day, Insurrection Eve, it was Bannon, listen to this, because if he does go before the committee, I bet you they ask about it. Bannon then boasting about trying to get the leader of the Proud Boys out of a Washington, D.C. jail cell.
Their leader is arrested when coming into Washington, D.C.
Look, I don't know those guys really, but I got to tell you, we put calls out last night trying to put bail up for the guy. It's just not acceptable.
Yeah, we found that. That is the level of coordination. I mean, either you're the type of person who's working on bail for Proud Boys for your own reasons going into the 6th, or you're not. And again, under oath, the questions would be, what did you know? Why were they so vital? Why did you need to spring them right before the 6th? We're talking about the chair, the #1 official on the Trump 2016 campaign, who was also in the White House. If he has direct involvement, I say if, because all of this has to be investigated, but if he has direct involvement with the Proud Boys' operational planning, that's a biggie. Bannon also declared in advance of all this that all hell was going to break loose.
All hell is going to break loose tomorrow. Just understand this. All hell is going to break loose tomorrow. It's going to be moving. It's going to be quick. It's not going to happen like you think it's going to happen, okay? It's going to be quite extraordinarily different. And all I can say is strap in. The War Room, a posse. You have made this happen, and tomorrow it's game day.
Now, that's a person who plays a lot of games and has a lot of bravado, but he did sound on record like someone who knew something and was preparing for something big. Whether it was big and public and free speech or big and criminal and violently operational is a question DOJ is investigating, regardless of what happens in the resolution of his trial about cooperating with Congress. He would appear to know a lot of things. And so when you take it all in, yeah, you can look at Mr. Bannon's bravado, his ethics, his life story. At the end of the day, this is a very real fact witness, if not more. The January 6th committee has to be looking at all this and questioning whether the real reason he's been avoiding testifying is not just making one more media spectacle. Indeed, his effort to get out from under the trial would suggest there's something other than attention that he's concerned about, and whether he is concerned about being in the position where he either has to tell what he knows under oath about Trump and Eastman and those people, or plead the Fifth.